prayer meeting this morning. We have a prayer meeting here, which, by the way, we're changing next week. It'll start at 8:15, and we're going to give you a word of encouragement. I want everyone who's in any ministry on the campus on Sunday, come 8, which will be a half-hour meeting. You can come say, well, I haven't got all that time because I've got to dash off and do my thing. Come in for 1 minute, 5 minutes, throw your prayer into the ring, or say, well, everyone else prayed, and no, I couldn't get a word in. That's okay. And come there and you get prayed over, and then you go and do your ministry. I was in there this morning and someone was praying about those who suffer from phobias and fear, and they prayed that God's courage would come into them. Well, it does. He will never leave us nor forsake us. Romans 8:31, if God is for us, what? Who can be against us? Nobody. You try and take God on, if you will. Promise number 5, God's promised rest. You say, well, I'm tired, I need a rest. I know, let's talk about that. Joshua 1:13, the Lord your God will give you rest. Stay awake. Joshua 1:15, until the Lord gives them rest. Matthew 11:28-29, Jesus said, come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. Now, just so you get a hang of what this rest is, it's not having a little ninos right now, guys. The day is just starting. Colossians 2:16-17. Therefore, do not let anyone judge you by what you eat or drink, or with regard to religious festival, a new moon celebration, or a Sabbath day. We're going to talk about Sabbath days. Some years ago, in this church, our women's ministry, someone invited a couple of ladies over, and they were Seventh-day Adventists. One of our ladies said, Gordon, come in and straighten them out. They got the day wrong. And I said, I don't even want to talk about a day. It's not about a day. If you thought that Sunday was a Sabbath, talk to someone like me who works my tail off on a Sunday. I'm not doing it. Is it Saturday? Well, it's just not a day. Well, I came and spoke to these Seventh-day Adventist ladies, and in fact they invited me over to speak at their church about issues. Well, I steered away from, I didn't want to have a collision. I talked about freedom in Christ. See, the good thing about this is they do this stuff on Saturday morning. I can go and preach there Saturday morning, which I did, and then I come back and preach in my own church Sunday. I'd like to do that all the time. I think I could do that. Another campus that's a Saturday campus. I saw a guy in Jamaica Blue Coffee Shop that was in that service, and it's like 12 years ago, something like that. Just a few weeks ago, and he said, Gordon, you remember me? And I said, well, no. And he told me that was his story. He doesn't go to that church anymore. I saw him again on Thursday afternoon, Catherine, and he said, Gordon, I want to hire your building. So it's good to have the context from SDA. But the point of this is that it says here, a new moon celebration or a Sabbath day. It says these are shadows of the things that were to come. The reality, however, is found in Christ. The Sabbath rest is not about a day. It's about a person. And the Sabbath rest is not a rest where you say, well, I need a little bit of time out. I've been working so hard, I need to have a little nap this afternoon. It's not talking about that. It's talking about where you find rest for your soul. It's talking about, it's not about sleeping, it's about peace of mind. There's a whole thing in your Bible, in Acts 20, about a fellow who fell asleep in church. They don't do it. Because it was the second story up and he was sitting on the windowsill and he fell asleep and toppled out and died. And so the Apostle Paul went down and raised him up again and took him back upstairs and preached all night after that. So don't fall asleep, because that's what I'll do. Let's keep on going. Acts 9:31, and the church had peace and was built up. That's what it's talking about. It's about peace of soul. And the context was hard work, laying a foundation, framework, and acceptance now, and reaping a harvest, peace of mind, establishment, not sleeping at all. It's that peace of mind. Promise number 6, last one from God in this context. God promises prosperity and success. Joshua 1:7-8, be strong and very courageous. Be careful to obey all the law my servant Moses gave you. Do not turn from it to the right or to the left, that you may be what? Successful wherever you go. Keep this book of the law always on your lips. Meditate on it day and night, so that you may be careful to do everything written in it. Then you will be prosperous and successful. 3 John verse 2, may you be prosperous even as your soul prospers. You've got to get your soul right, and then everything else can... See, this is the abundant life that Jesus is talking about. Now, I've taken time to lay out those 6 promises that God has flowing from from Joshua 1, but you'll never receive their benefits unless and until you take responsibility, get your attitude right, and then get active in that. So what's your responsibility? Let me rush through these in a hurry here. Number 1, Joshua 1:2, get ready. Everyone say, get ready. Get ready. Thank you. Joshua 1:11, get your supplies ready. Get your supplies. Thank you. Now, I just want to tell you about what the supplies are. And I just want to give you Jesus told a parable about 10 virgins, 10 young women. And they were waiting to go into the bridegroom's wedding, and they had little lamps with oil in them. They got these lamps, and the bridegroom was a bit delayed, and around midnight, and 5 of the young women realised they didn't have enough oil in their lamps to keep them going when the bridegroom came, and that would be a tragedy. They wouldn't be let into the celebration. The other 5, they took some extra oil in bottles, and they just filled their lamps up, and off they went. So they had their supplies ready. It's about getting your supplies ready. And we'll talk about what those supplies might be in a moment. Get the supplies ready. Number 2, Joshua 1:3, set your foot. It's your responsibility. I talked before about going on the land. Whatever God's calling you to, set your foot. If God's calling you to a new ministry, a new place of employment, and you really set your foot, it's up to you to be setting your foot. No one else can do it for you. Number 3, Joshua 1:7, be careful to obey. God had given Moses a vision, a plan, a strategy, a philosophy of ministry, and the promises of God would be claimed as long as the people in his team stuck to the game plan that God had given the leader. That's the way it worked. That's the way it worked. It won't work any other way around. So Joshua 1:1, you love the way this book starts off. Moses, my servant, is dead. It's like a news headline, isn't it? Moses, 120 years old, leader of the greatest and largest congregation ever, died today. That's it. This is your man from Canberra, Glorious. But he had passed on to his assistant pastor and successor, Joshua, all the detail of vision and mission and philosophy and strategy. And so he says, verse 7, be careful to stick to the game plan, don't deviate to the left or to the right, stick to the vision, the philosophy, the strategies, so that you may be successful and so that you may be prosperous. That's how it works. When we listen to the voice of God, he will give a game plan for each local church. And it'll be different than a lot of other local churches down the road. But he will not give a whole lot of different game plans for all the individuals in that local church. Well, there's one. A team can't work any other way. Your team's got to win the game. Everyone's got to play to the one game plan. And when they don't win. When you stick to the one game plan, everything will work out wonderfully well.